What's going on, world? Now, before we get started, I gotta thank the good folks at Keymailer for hooking your boy up with a code so that I could play this game and come in here and talk about it with y'all. So without further ado, let's dive into Contra Operation Galuga. Now, Contra Operation Galuga is basically a reimagining of the original NES game. So if you're in my age bracket, which, you know, your knees probably hurt now, but if you grew up playing Contra games, or if you just like running guns in general, you should feel pretty much right at home with this. Contra Operation Galuga is a game that knows exactly what it is. It took the old Contra formula, kind of added a few modern twists to it, but doesn't stray too far away from kind of what makes Contra Contra. Now, the most divisive part of this game is definitely going to be the graphic choice. This 3D look, especially with the character models, got some mixed reception. I am not the biggest fan of it. Would have much preferred some 2D sprites or look similar to Hard Corps Uprising, which is an amazing running gun that you should play, by the way. But hey, man, we got what we got. It is what it is. Kind of got used to it after a while. But I do like the look of the stages, though. You'll be running and gunning through 8 different stages, each with their own unique look and feel. So you'll be running through jungles, science labs, ancient ruins, villages, and you'll even be out in the snow shooting people and getting shot at. And there's a respectable amount of enemy variety, which also helps each stage kind of stand out from each other and kind of, have their own little individual personalities about themselves. And you've got a few different game modes to choose from, those being story mode, arcade mode, and the challenge mode. The arcade mode, which I'm currently doing, will have you running through each stage, and it kind of cuts through all the filler and the story bits. You just get straight to the action, just get straight to shooting people. And you can also adjust the difficulty and have it to where you can die in one shot, just like you used to in the old days if you're about that life. I'm trying to be about that life. I've completed the story mode, but I'm on the one-shot arcade mode, and boy, stage 7. Yikes! But I'm getting through it. But the challenge mode is pretty much as it says. It's a series of challenge stages where you got to complete a specific objective in order to clear the stage. It could be anything from doing a passive run where you have to do an entire stage without shooting anybody, or you just have to clear the stage in like a certain amount of time. So I did enjoy the challenge mode, but the story mode, that's the main part of the game. The story mode features fully voice acted cutscenes. You'll be playing as the 2 main characters, the OGs, Bill and Lance, who are basically trying to stop this Red Falcon army and fend off an alien invasion. Story isn't anything too crazy. Story is kind of cheesy. The dialogue, kind of cheesy, but I mean, let's be real. None of us are really here for, we're not expecting no Oscar-like performances, but it's serviceable. It gets the job done. Contra Operation Galuga nails the most important part, though, at least in my opinion, and that's the gameplay. I'm playing the PS5 build of this, and it feels smooth. It's responsive. I might have had one glitch, I think, where I fell through the floor randomly. But other than that, the game plays and feels exactly how I would want a Contra game to play and feel. It's fast-paced, it's hectic, and it's challenging. So whether you're running and gunning, or platforming, or riding this cool little hover bike, there's going to be constant action, bullets flying all over the place, bombs going off. You'll be fighting for your life in these boss fights, which is kind of cool. A lot of these boss fights are a callback since this is a reimagining. So some of these boss fights, if you played the original Contra, will look familiar. Or you might get a missile thrown at you from this little guy who is in the snow running full speed, ready to take you out. This guy kills me every time I see him. He is dedicated to his craft, and I respect his dedication. He is really out here in the snow with this missile, and he is trying his heart out. Give that guy a raise. But all of the classic weapons are here, man. We got the flamethrower, we got the laser, we got the machine gun, and of course the GOAT, the spreader. Gotta have the spread shot. But they changed up the weapons too also this time, so you can hold up to 2 weapons at the same time, and you can rotate between each. But if you pick 2 of the same weapon, you can basically upgrade it and make it stronger. So for example, if you get 2 of the spread shot, I believe it goes from 3 shots to 5, and if you upgrade the flamethrower, it basically like increases the distance of the flame. And each weapon also has what's called an overload feature, which is basically a special attack, and these are unique to each weapon. Now, some of these are offensive and some of them are defensive, but you do have to kind of be strategic with how you use them. If you only have one of that weapon, and you use the overload, you're going to lose it afterwards. And if you have 2 of that weapon because you upgraded it, once you use the overload, it's going to drop you back to the base form. So just keep that in mind, that the overload isn't something that you can spam over and over again. Or, you know, you can if you want, but just note that you might lose your weapon doing so. But throughout the game, you also will get to play as multiple characters, and I do like that each character does have like their own unique abilities that are kind of special to them. Kind of keeps everybody from playing the exact same way and just being carbon copies of one another. So that kind of adds, you know, some more variety to the gameplay as well. And there's also a perk store that you can go to and use your credits. You get credits from basically just completing stages, whether it be in the story of the arcade or the challenge mode. And you can use that to purchase additional abilities and upgrades. You can equip up to 2 perks at the same time. So you can kind of mix and match and see what perk best works for you, or which perk you think would be, you know, good for a specific stage. But yeah, man, like, this game is pretty straightforward. I had a good time, man. This gave me the run and gun fix that I kind of needed. But if there is one negative I can say about Operation Galuga, outside of the graphic style, it would be the lack of an online co-op mode. That seemed like a pretty big missed opportunity. I feel like that should have been a no-brainer. I don't know why there's not an online co-op mode in this. Running guns are some of the best games that you can play with a friend, so that, I don't know, it seemed like they kind of missed the mark with that. Hopefully they'll add that in later at some point, but that should have absolutely been in here. So I kind of got to dock some points for that. But still, all in all, man, I had a pretty good time with this, man. I definitely had a good time with this. And like, Operation Galuga isn't the greatest game ever. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's not going to give you anything that you probably haven't already seen before. But I don't think it really needed to. It just needed to be a fun running gun. And it's a fun running gun. Like, it's very straightforward, to the point. It's a very much you see what you get. And if you like it, if you grew up playing Contra games, or if you grew up playing running guns in general, this is going to be another solid option that you're probably going to want to have in your collection. It hits all of the marks that it needs to hit, maybe outside of the graphic style. But outside of that, I don't see why you wouldn't get some enjoyment out of this. But that is all I have for today's video. My name is Serial Sensei. As always, y'all stay safe, y'all stay hydrated, and I will catch y'all on the next video. Bro, the dude that be running with the missile, he be killing me. For one, that doing is hilarious, because why are you just running in the snow with a whole a whole weapon of mass destruction in your hand? Bro be getting it out there.